Every story has a hidden layer. Every reality, a secret waiting to be uncovered.
Have you ever wondered why your life unfolds the way it does? Why certain patterns repeat no matter how far you run? Why some days you feel light, open, alive, and others you feel trapped inside a mind that will not let you breathe? Have you ever felt as if something unseen, something subtle, is guiding your reactions, your choices, even the way you feel when you wake in the morning? You're not imagining it. There are invisible forces shaping your life. Not mystical beings, not external spirits, but the deeply embedded energies, memories, beliefs, and emotional currents that live inside you, moving you like wind moves the sea. Tonight, we're going to explore those forces. Not from the surface, not from the mind that tries to figure everything out, but from the quiet awareness beneath it, the part of you that has always been watching and always been waiting for you to finally stop running and listen. Take a slow breath in. Let your shoulders soften. Feel the weight of your body where you sit, and for a moment, give yourself permission to arrive. Because the truth is, you've been carrying so much more than you realize. Every thought, every wound, every expectation you placed on yourself, every moment you tried to be stronger than you felt, every time you kept going when a part of you wanted to break, all of it is here with you, in the background of your mind, like echoes of old storms. These are the invisible forces shaping how you speak, how you love, how you react, how you breathe, how you survive. And most of the time, you don't even know they're there. Close your eyes for a moment, not to escape the world, but to see it more clearly. Notice the gentle hum inside your mind, the quiet restlessness, the subtle tension behind your chest or in your stomach. These sensations aren't random, they're messengers, indicators of the emotional atmosphere you're living in. You see, your mind is like a sky. Your emotions are like weather. Your memories are like distant constellations, still shaping the tides of your inner world, long after their moment has passed. The storms you never faced become the storms you keep reliving. The feelings you avoid become the chains that quietly control you. And the beliefs you inherited from your parents, your childhood, the world around you, become the invisible architecture of your life. But none of it is your fault. You didn't choose the patterns you grew up with. You didn't choose the wounds that shaped your heart. You didn't choose the burdens you learned to carry so young that you now confuse them with your identity. But you can choose what you do with them now. There is a force in you, older than your fear, deeper than your overthinking, stronger than your past. A force that remembers what peace feels like. A force that calls you back every time you forget who you are. Some call it presence. Some call it awareness. Some call it the soul. But you don't need a name for it. You felt it before. In those moments of pure silence. In those rare seconds where everything becomes clear. In the breath you didn't realize you were holding until it finally released. That force is the real you, the unchanging you, the you beneath the noise. And as you listen to these words, it's already awakening.
Let's go deeper. Imagine your mind as a vast ocean. On the surface, the waves are wild, thoughts crashing, emotions swirling, memories rising like sudden storms. This surface is where most people live, constantly reacting. Surface. Just a few feet down, everything changes. The noise fades, the waters become still, the chaos above becomes distant and harmless. That depth is your true self. You are not the storm. You are the ocean. But here's the problem. Most of us have forgotten how to sink into ourselves. We've forgotten how to feel without drowning, how to listen without fear, how to let go without thinking we'll disappear. And so we stay on the surface, fighting, panicking, analyzing, controlling, trying to make life behave instead of understanding the forces shaping it. But tonight, you're going to remember. You're going to meet the forces that have shaped your thoughts, your reactions, your relationships, your sense of worth. Not to judge them, not to fight them, but to finally see them clearly. Because what you can see, you can understand. And what you can understand, you can transform. Now, take another breath. Slow, gentle. Let it fill you without effort. On the exhale, let something soften inside you. A tiny surrender, a tiny release. You don't need to let go of everything at once. Just let go of the idea that you need to hold on so tightly. Because life has never asked you to fight it. Life only asked you to notice it. And that is where our journey begins.
Let's turn toward one of the greatest invisible forces shaping your life. The stories you tell yourself. Not the stories you share with others, but the secret narratives. Quiet, persistent, almost unconscious, that define what you believe you deserve, what you believe you're capable of, and who you believe you are. Every one of us carries these inner stories. Some were whispered to us in childhood. Some were carved by painful moments. Some grew slowly, silently, from years of trying to survive. Stories like, I have to be strong or people will leave. I'm on my own. I'm too much. I'm not enough. I'm responsible for everyone's happiness. If I don't control everything, everything will fall apart. These stories feel like truth, but they are only echoes, shadows of old experiences, still shaping the choices you make today. And the most profound part is this: you rarely hear these stories directly. They show up in your reactions, your fears, your hesitations, your patterns. They shape your relationships. They shape your emotional triggers. They shape the way you breathe when something reminds you of an old wound you didn't even realize was still alive. You think you're reacting to the present moment, but most of the time, you're reacting to the past. Take a slow breath. Let that truth settle gently. You see, the mind is a storyteller, but it is also a protector. It learned to build these narratives as a way to keep you safe, to guard you from pain you once weren't strong enough to face. So instead of judging these stories, let's meet them with compassion. Place a hand on your chest if you feel comfortable. Feel the warmth of your own presence. Feel the rise and fall of your breath. And now ask yourself gently, what story has been shaping me the most lately? The story that tightens my chest. The story that makes me overthink. The story that keeps me small, even when I long to expand. Don't force an answer. Just listen, feel. You may notice an image, a memory, a sensation, a familiar sentence your mind repeats when life becomes overwhelming. Whatever rises, meet it like you would meet a child who has been carrying too much for too long. Softly, kindly, without judgment. Because these internal narratives are not signs of your weakness, they are signs of your survival. Now let's explore the second invisible force, unfelt emotion. Imagine emotion as water, fluid, natural, always seeking movement. But when the world taught you that certain emotions were too much, inconvenient, or unacceptable, you learned to hold them back, to tighten, to suppress, to pretend. And what happens to water when it's not allowed to flow? It stagnates. It grows heavy, dense. It sinks to the bottom of the psyche, becoming a weight you can't see, but you can always feel. This is why you get overwhelmed by things that seem small. It's not the present moment that breaks you. It's the accumulation, the old emotions that never had space to express themselves. You're not too emotional, you're just full. And tonight, we're going to open a small doorway for that fullness to breathe. Close your eyes gently. Place one hand on your belly. Feel the breath there, the place where truth tends to live. Ask yourself softly, what emotion have I been avoiding? Sadness, anger, loneliness, fear, exhaustion, shame. Again, don't search for an answer with your mind. Let your body speak. Your body always knows. You might feel a pinch in your throat, a heaviness in your chest, a tightness in your stomach. These sensations are not random. They are the physical footprints of emotions you've carried for years. You don't need to force them out. You don't need to relive anything painful. Just allow them to exist. Just allow them to be seen. Because emotions, like children, soften when you stop pushing them away. Now we turn to another invisible force, perhaps the one that shapes your life the most, the ego's need for control. The ego is not your enemy. It's simply a part of your mind that believes it must manage everything or life will collapse. It whispers, I must know what's coming. I must avoid every mistake. I must fix everything immediately. I must hold myself together at all costs. And because of this, you've spent years trying to control what was never yours to control. Other people's thoughts, their reactions, their choices, your future, your past, even your own emotions. Control is exhausting. It's like trying to hold the ocean in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. And the tragedy is this: the more you try to control life, the more out of control you feel. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're fighting reality instead of flowing with it. Take a breath. Now imagine, for a moment, that life is a river, a wide, slow-moving river. It knows exactly where it's going. It has known long before you arrived. Your fears didn't create its movement. Your hopes didn't alter its course. All you have ever needed to do is let yourself float. But somewhere along the way, you learned to paddle against the current, to fight the flow, to try to force life to match your expectations. Feel the exhaustion in that. Feel the tension of years spent swimming upstream. Now imagine releasing that struggle, just a little. Imagine allowing the river to hold you. You are not losing control. You are remembering that you were never supposed to carry everything alone. As we continue deeper, notice how your breath feels now. Warmer, slower, more grounded. This is what happens when you stop resisting the invisible forces and begin to understand them instead. You become softer, clearer, more open, more yourself. And the deeper we go, the more you'll discover that beneath your fear, beneath your stories, beneath your unexpressed emotions, beneath your need to control, there is a quiet intelligence guiding you, a wisdom older than your pain, a stillness untouched by your past. It's been waiting for you your entire life.
There is a moment in every inner journey where something shifts, not dramatically, not with fireworks or revelation, but quietly, like a door opening inside the chest. Maybe you feel it now, a slight unwinding in the breath, a small crack in the armor you've worn for so long you forgot it wasn't part of your skin. This is the moment the deeper truth begins to surface. Because beneath the stories, beneath the unexpressed emotions, beneath the illusion of control, there is another force, one that shapes your life even more than the rest. Your unconscious longing to come home to yourself. You may not realize it, but every decision you've made, every mistake, every relationship that hurt or healed you, every moment of confusion or clarity, all of it has been guided by a silent inner compass that wants one thing: to return you to who you really are. Not who you were told to be, not who you learned to become to survive, not the version of you shaped by wounds or defenses or expectations, but the version beneath all of that, the untouched one, the one that's always been here, even when you couldn't feel it. And the truth is, you've never been disconnected from yourself. You've only been distracted. Let's go deeper into this remembering. Close your eyes softly. Feel your breath as if you're listening to a friend speak, noticing without interfering, receiving without controlling. Now imagine a small flame inside your chest, not dramatic, not overwhelming, but steady, warm, ancient. This flame is your awareness, your presence, your true self. It has been here through every chapter of your life, through every heartbreak you thought would break you, through every moment of joy that felt too fleeting, through every silent night where your thoughts felt too loud. It has never judged you, never abandoned you, never blamed you for drowning in the very waters you were never taught to swim. This flame sees everything and yet remains untouched. This is the part of you that is not shaped by invisible forces. This is the force that can shape them instead. But to access that power, you must understand another truth. Your mind is not your enemy. It is simply overwhelmed. It learned to react the way it does because it believed it needed to protect you. Every fear-based thought was an attempt to keep you safe. Every defensive pattern was born from a wound. Every moment of overthinking was your mind trying to predict pain before it could reach you again. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are healing from battles you never received applause for. You are growing through experiences others will never see. You are carrying weights you never told anyone about. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still searching, still trying. That alone is a miracle. Now let's meet another invisible force, the memories your body still holds. Most people think memories live in the mind, but the body remembers everything the mind tried to forget. It stores the moments you had no words for. It holds the grief you didn't have space to feel. It carries the fear you learned to normalize. It keeps score of every time you left yourself to make someone else comfortable. Your shoulders know the weight of old burdens. Your jaw remembers every unspoken sentence. Your chest knows the ache of suppressed truths. Your stomach remembers the tension of waiting for things to go wrong. This is why healing cannot happen by thought alone. The body must be included. It must be heard. It must be allowed to exhale the years it has spent in silent defense. Place a hand gently over your heart. Feel the warmth beneath your palm. Now breathe into that space, as if your breath is telling your heart, I'm here now, you can rest. Notice what happens. Notice the micro-relaxation, the subtle melting, the tiny shift from holding to softening. These are not small changes, these are seismic, because when the body feels safe, life begins to flow, and what once felt impossible to release begins to loosen on its own. Now let's explore the force that keeps so many people stuck, the illusion of identity. You believe you are your thoughts. You believe you are your emotions. You believe you are the roles you play, the strong one, the quiet one, the responsible one, the broken one, the healer, the survivor, the one who always figures it out. But these identities are costumes. They were useful once, protective, necessary, but they are not you. You are the awareness that sees the thought. You are the sky in which the storm appears. You are the stillness beneath the waves. When you believe you are the storm, life feels chaotic, unpredictable, unmanageable. But when you remember you are the sky, vast, open, untouchable, everything changes. The storms still come, the waves still rise, life still moves, but you do not collapse with it. You remain centered, clear, present. This is what freedom feels like. Not a life without difficulty, but a life where difficulty no longer defines you. And now we arrive at one of the deepest truths you are ready to hear. Nothing inside you is working against you. Not your fear, not your doubt, not your anger, not your sadness, not even your pain. They are all trying to lead you somewhere. Fear leads you to boundaries. Sadness leads you to acceptance. Anger leads you to self-respect. Shame leads you to authenticity. Pain leads you to healing. Confusion leads you to clarity. Resistance leads you to truth. Every force within you has a purpose. You are not battling your mind. You are learning to understand it. You are not fixing your emotions. You are allowing them to transform. You are not fighting your past. You are integrating it. This is inner liberation, not through force, but through awareness, not through control, but through surrender, not through striving, but through remembering. And slowly, gently, you begin to sense it, the quiet intelligence beneath everything. It's subtle. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It doesn't push. It lives in the spaces between your breaths, between your thoughts, between your reactions. It is guiding you toward yourself. And for the first time, maybe in years, maybe in a lifetime, you feel the faint warmth of something returning. Clarity, stillness, presence, you.
There is a silence that arrives when the mind begins to loosen its grip. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of returning. Everything we've explored, the stories, the emotions, the patterns, the body's memories, the ego's defenses, has led you to this point. A moment where the inner chaos begins to reorganize itself into something simpler, something clearer, something that feels like truth. Because beneath everything, there is one force more powerful than all the others combined: your awareness. Not the awareness that thinks, the awareness that knows. The quiet observer that has been here since your first breath, watching every experience without ever being touched by it. This awareness is the foundation of your freedom, because once you see the forces shaping you, they no longer control you. Once you can witness the storm without becoming it, the storm loses its power. And so now we step into the final phase of this journey, integration, the moment where understanding becomes transformation. Close your eyes gently. Let the breath move in on its own. Let it move out on its own. There is nothing you need to manage, nothing you need to fix, nothing you need to achieve in this moment. Just notice. Notice the space inside you that feels just a little more open than when you began. Notice how the body sits with a little more ease. Notice how the mind feels not empty, but less crowded. This is what returning to yourself feels like. Not traumatic, not explosive, but spacious, honest, quietly powerful. Let's explore the final invisible force, perhaps the most transformative one: presence. Presence is not something you earn, not something you force, not something you practice until you get it right. Presence is what remains when you stop fighting yourself. It's the natural state of your being. It's the home you keep forgetting and rediscovering. Presence is the silent knowing that whatever is happening, you can meet it from the center of yourself instead of the edges. Presence turns chaos into clarity. Presence turns pain into understanding. Presence turns ordinary moments into gateways of awakening. When you live from presence, life stops feeling like something that's happening to you. It becomes something happening through you, a dance, a flow, a conversation between your inner world and the world outside. Now, ask yourself softly, what would my life feel like if I lived from this presence more often? Not perfectly, not constantly, just more often. What choices would feel lighter? What relationships would feel softer? What old patterns would dissolve because you no longer feed them with fear or avoidance? Who would you be if you stopped living as the wound and started living as the awareness that can heal it? This question isn't meant to be answered with words. It's meant to awaken a memory, because somewhere deep within you, you already know. You've glimpsed this clarity before, in moments of deep breath, in moments of surrender, in moments where life cracked you open and something pure slipped through. Presence has been guiding you your whole life. You are only now beginning to recognize it. Now, let's address something every human being struggles with, but few speak about: the fear of being yourself. Not the self you present to the world, not the self you perform to stay safe, but the real you, the soft you, the honest you, the intuitive you, the expressive you. To be yourself is to risk being seen, and to be seen is to risk being misunderstood, rejected, criticized, or abandoned. This fear is one of the strongest invisible forces in your life. It shapes how you love, how you speak, how you dream, how you shrink, how you protect your heart. But here is the truth your soul has been trying to tell you. The cost of abandoning yourself is always greater than the cost of being yourself. When you betray your truth to keep the peace, you lose your inner peace. When you silence your needs to avoid conflict, you create conflict inside yourself. When you try to impress others by dimming your authenticity, you attract relationships that never truly see you. But when you return to yourself, even a little, life begins to rearrange around your truth. People who cannot meet you fall away. People who resonate move closer. Opportunities aligned with your essence begin to appear as if by coincidence. This is not magic. This is coherence. When your inner world aligns, your outer world follows. Take another slow breath. Feel the simplicity of this moment. Feel how far you've traveled just by turning inward. You've met your stories. You've acknowledged your emotions. You've released the illusion of control. You've listened to the body. You've questioned the identities that kept you small. You've remembered who you are beneath the noise. And now you stand at the edge of a quiet truth. Nothing outside you can shape your life more powerfully than the awareness within you. This is the force that transforms everything, not by changing the world, but by changing how you meet it.
Not by controlling life, but by trusting yourself. Not by resisting what comes, but by opening to what is. Now, imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, and instead of being pulled by old patterns and unconscious habits, you pause, you breathe, you listen, you choose. You allow yourself to feel instead of suppress. You allow the day to unfold instead of controlling it. You allow yourself to be exactly as you are instead of molding yourself into who you think you should be. This single shift from unconscious reaction to conscious presence is how transformation begins. It doesn't require perfection. It only requires awareness, and awareness is already here. You are not becoming a new version of yourself. You are remembering the version you were before the world taught you to forget. The vast you, The aware you, the peaceful you, the grounded you, the you that sees clearly even when life becomes blurry. This is who you've always been. Everything else was conditioning. Everything else was survival. Everything else was temporary. But this presence, this awareness, this inner stillness, this is permanent. This is home. One final breath. Let it move through you like a warm tide. Slow, expansive, releasing. Feel the body soften. Feel the mind quiet. Feel the space within you grow wider, clearer, lighter. Know that you can return to this space whenever you need. It has always been yours. It will always be yours. Because no matter what storms come, no matter what invisible forces rise or fall, you are the sky. You are the witness. You are the awareness. You are the presence that transforms everything it touches. Your life is not shaped by what happens outside you. It is shaped by the consciousness with which you meet it. And you, right now, are awakening to that truth. A final mantra to carry with you. I return to myself. I release what is not mine. I meet life with presence. I shape my world from within. Let these words settle into your breath, into your bones, into the quiet intelligence that guides your path. Your journey continues, but now you walk it consciously, softly, awake, aligned. Welcome home.